Hello and welcome to another update video about VeChain. VeChain is currently doing what we've already talked about in the previous video. VeChain struggled to push above the 200-day moving average. We did count in the previous video here a first possible impulse into this count, so that you can count this as a 5-wave move. We now need to see that first ABC move down. So the correction, in my opinion, has started for now. But what we need to see is further lower prices for VeChain in order to complete this, because this first impulse you can see as a wave 1. This next correction here you can see as a wave 2. So a wave 2 typically comes down to at least the 50% Fibonacci retracement, normally lower, but the minimum would be the 50% retracement. That would be at 6.5 cents. We haven't reached it yet. Currently we find support at the 38.2% Fib level. And if that is continuing to play out, we're not dropping lower, then this increases the chances that we're pushing higher, because then the correction isn't finished yet. I think to do that wave 2, we need to get at least into the region between 6.5 cents and at least 5 cents, maybe even down to 4.5 cents. Yeah. So otherwise it would not be a wave 2 correction, and we can still push once more higher. I mean, the thing is, the way a correction normally works out is anyway, you could do your wave 1 here, then you get your wave B to the upside, and then you get your wave C down. Now, what we've seen here, this could obviously already be that wave B, that green candle to the upside, and then the wave C is still coming, or the wave B might now come in the next few days, and then we come down. We don't really know until it's happened, but when we see the price approach that 50% Fib retracement, I will probably add again to my VeChain position. For now, what we need to say, even though we saw that first impulse, we're not through the woods yet. I told you before that as long as VeChain does not break these important structural levels, there is still a lot of downside potential. The downside potential reduces above 10.2 cents. That is that previous swing high. Very important structurally for the price, 10.2. We're still far away from that. And even further away, we are from this level here at around 18.5 cents. So that wave B high from November, this will be, I think, above that. We're not talking anymore about a continuous correction. Then we're already in a region where we can move higher easily. And then I think we have surpassed the point from where we will see these lower levels again. Until then, unfortunately, the lower levels are still probable, still likely. But of course, the higher we go, the more unlikely they will be. And VeChain is one of the few cryptos where I would say, right, the low could already be in, but it's not guaranteed that we won't come lower again. If Bitcoin is now turning around, we can certainly still get back into the target area. For example, see once more that 4.5 cent level, as I just mentioned. And what we also need to understand is that, as I just said, VeChain has not managed to break through those important levels that are structurally so important for this new uptrend. Despite a first impulse to the upside, but there's more to it. We also need that first ABC down and then start again and then break these levels, which doesn't mean that I am waiting until these levels to really buy VeChain. No, because I'm not gonna miss any of this uptrend. I bought in this target area, and this is the area between the 88.7% Fib level and the 78.6. This is the area where we talked about with the highest likelihood VeChain is going to turn around. Talked about that back in November, and there you go. What is it doing? It has turned around. Now, this doesn't mean it could not come, it still can very much come back into the target area. But we see a very nice sign of life here on the VeChain chart, because the way down it was really quiet, and it's now starting to move up, and this is the strongest move up that we've had since this wave B here back in November. You can see it on the momentum indicator here, the RSI on the daily, that this is the last time where we were that overbought on the VeChain chart. So that just shows the increased momentum. But overall, already in the last videos, when VeChain went above 8 cents and nearly approached 9 cents, we talked about an upcoming correction because it is just overbought. We could count the first 5-wave impulse into it. Therefore, you can now expect a correction. It seems to be playing out. We are also expecting here bearish crossover on the MACD in the, maybe even today, tomorrow, depending on how fast it's now going to turn around. But again, maybe we see some short upside again before we come down, because nothing is moving in a straight line. But yeah, it seems like the momentum is shifting for now to the downside. And also here you can see it on the 8-hour chart, continues to play out that negative momentum. So this hasn't changed yet. And on the 4-hour chart as well, it hasn't changed yet. Also here on the 4-hour chart RSI, there is still further potential to move down further. And very importantly, on the 8-hour chart, we are currently getting that short signal here on the ADX and DI indicator. And it's just touching at the moment, but if this is playing out, that can also accelerate the downside potential. So this is where we are currently with VeChain. I would expect lower prices going forward. I think the first impulse is over and we're now waiting for that correction. There is still a chance for VeChain to push higher from here. In that case, the impulse wouldn't be finished and we have to count it differently. In this case, the wave 2 will still be coming at a later stage, but this would, in my opinion, only happen if VeChain manages to break above that previous rejection point at 9 cents. And then it has potential to move all the way up to 10.2. But I would see the chances for that fairly low at the moment. I think it is turning around at the moment. We can see it in the daily MACD. If you see that changing, however, if you see increased buying momentum, this then will change. Of course, I can only give you here a momentary snapshot of the chart. And if any of these indicators shift, because they can shift at any time, for example, here on the 4-hour chart, if you see the momentum shift, then you're going to see here a little bit of more upside. But what we also need to understand, if we see this ABC correction, it is certainly possible, for example, for VeChain to do something like that, where it now came down here, goes up, retests that previous support line as a resistance level, and then comes down. And this is typically where people get too bullish again. So bear that in mind until we break back above that ascending trend line and break the 200-day moving average. I think we are now in the beginning of a downtrend, yeah, because we are making here, after we made a series of lows, yeah, or hit the same low again, we are now seeing here a first lower low after a lower high. So all of that adds up for me in terms of we could really see here the correction play out further, okay, because what you did we probably formed here a descending triangle, yeah. And this is typically a bearish pattern. So you broke it. We're now retesting that former support as resistance here at 7.5 cents. And if you see that break and then go past the previous rejection point at 6.9 cents, then I think we go down to that next fib level at 6.1. So that's my view on VeChain here at the moment. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.